Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Big Shiny Coin Podcast. My name is Chad Spangler, and every week I ask the internet a gaming-related question, and then I share the best answers right here on the show. How can you get your answers on the podcast? Well, the best way is to join that Discord server. Go to somberdonstudios.com and click the big Join the Discord button at the top. You can also search us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, message us on there, or just look out for the weekly post. Huge shout out to Reddit this week. The posts I put on Reddit kind of blew up and gave me a ton of good answers. So, what is the question of the week? Well, the question is, what is your greatest gaming accomplishment? Mine is definitely my high scores in Guitar Hero and Rock Band games. Most notably, I have 5-starred Through the Fire and Flames on Expert difficulty in Guitar Hero 3. It took me an insane number of tries, but after mastering each section, I was able to surpass the 5-star score by quite a bit. The truth is somewhere from Reddit. That was kind of hard to read. Says, I beat the RC helicopter level on GTA Vice City. Well, I guess that's a wrap on our podcast for the week because that's the best answer. For anybody who hasn't played that, it is a very difficult accomplishment, but not in a good way. It is extremely hard to control that RC helicopter and quite infuriating. So props for beating that. By Ethan Fox from Reddit, who, by the way, shout out, is the author of the World of Orochi series of urban fantasy novels. Check those out if that sounds interesting to you. By Ethan Fox says, probably the 2 achievements on Street Fighter II Turbo HDR for Xbox 360, Master of All Things, and Playing to Win. The first requires you to gain a ranked win in every character. The second requires you to gain 100 ranked wins overall. This won't be a big deal to some people, but despite the fact that I'd been quite good at fighting games for years, I had never really gotten the hang of Street Fighter 2. I got into fighters with Virtua Fighter. I mean, I enjoyed SF2 in the 90s, but couldn't profess to having been good at it. Yet I was good at some of the later games. I would regularly win games on SF2 or Capcom vs. SNK 2 online, as well as most 3D fighters, given those games had quite poor netcode, but I was still pretty good. For HDR, I decided I was going to try to get really, really skilled at the game, and tried to become proficient with every character. I studied all the strategies and matchups, eventually settling on Claw/Vega as my main. I reached the point where I would go online, and in 20 games, I would honestly expect to win 18 or 19. That's insane. I used to absolutely wreck people. Those achievements were like a symbol of what I'd achieved. As a kid, I struggled to even do a Dragon Punch on the SNES pad, but in HDR, I was, well, expert would be taking it too far, but I was good at something that I thought I'd never been good at. A lot was going south in my life at the time, but this was something I could grasp onto. I remember towards the end of my HDR career running into some people who used to play together a lot, and I hadn't seen in a while, and one of them said, "Man, your Vega was a pleasure to watch. I don't know how you can just dance around hits like that. I don't even care if you beat me. It was just a pleasure to watch you do your thing. It felt awesome." It's definitely good to have something when, stuff in your life's not going so great that you can kind of, not necessarily escape to, but feel proud of. So I really like that answer for, having that sense of pride in that accomplishment. That's really cool. From Distant Lands from Reddit, completing Dishonored with 0 kills and no detection. I've never really played a ton of stealth games, but I've always been interested in booting up one and trying to do, a 0 kill playthrough. That sounds really interesting to me. Tyrant Dragon 05 from Discord, getting my wife interested in Monster Hunter. We started in 3U, where basically I did all of the armor combos because that system is awful. But when 4U came out, both of us had equal footing to discover the better combinations. I remember, however, farming Kieran because she had to finish that dumb sword. It's always good to get a loved one into a game and make them as passionate as you are about it. Feels good, man. Dankest Daddy 69 from Reddit, completing Portal 1 in 24 minutes. Nothing close to anything great, but it was a few years ago and I wanted to try going as fast as possible. Never got into speedrunning, it just never had the time, but it was a little achievement for myself. Yeah, it doesn't have to be something, world record shattering to be a really good achievement. 24 minutes? Dude, that's about 1,000,000 times better than I could do. Famikami on Instagram, beating Contra with no Konami code is the one I bring up at parties. I feel like I am a traitor to gaming, having not played Contra ever. Uh, I feel like that's something you have to do. Maybe I'll do it one of these days, but I feel like I would just like get destroyed in the first 15 minutes and give up. Sharknado3 on Reddit. When the first God of War came out, the dicks at GameStop said, "This game is impossible to beat on God mode," and laughed at me and my buddies when I said we could do it. So we spent countless hours and days playing this damn thing until we beat it on God mode, and all the challenges as well. It was sweet victory when I walked in, tossed the memory card, and said, "Done." That that sounds pretty great. Just to be able to showed you, man. Andrew on Facebook. For me, it's probably unlocking all 290 trophies in Super Smash Bros. Melee. One of those is Duskin Trophy, which requires you to earn every end-of-game bonus and penalty, so you have to do things like throw a hammer and clear any one-player mode without taking any damage. Doable both if you're dedicated, but dedicated you must be. I am notoriously terrible at Smash. I've tried. I was so determined to get good at the Wii U Smash, and then I didn't. It's kind of dumb because like I had my Wii U. I had like Smash posters set up in the room. I had 4 GameCube controllers. I had the adapter. I was ready to go, and then I just sucked at it. PM me sexy grills 69. Oh, great, from Reddit. One time I beat Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3 times in 5 days. God, I love that game. Nowadays, it's probably my 214 Fortnite wins. God, I hate that game. I hear a lot of people who play Fortnite a lot hate that game, and I can't tell if it's a joke or if it's true, because it seems really true. I don't know. Tevolcanic from Reddit. In Civ 5, I got the achievement for nuking someone as the Mayans in 2012 on December 20th, 2012 at 12:21 p.m. I was just 1 minute late from perfection. I love those. I love getting those hyper-specific achievements. That always feels fun. Scoob 1978 from Reddit. I beat Emerald Weapon without the underwater materia. I didn't know it existed. So I saw a couple people mention these weapons, and I'm going to be honest, I didn't know what the hell they were talking about. I have never played Final Fantasy VII, which I know is terrible. But I looked up, like, what's required to beat these weapons, and it seems insane. And one of the things I discovered while looking into this answer was that the underwater materia is almost 100% necessary for doing that, and you did it without it, so congrats. XJRSC from Reddit. I 100% Skyrim and Bloodborne. My 100% playthrough of Skyrim took 120 hours and Bloodborne around 70 hours. That sounds like I feel like that's a speed run of sorts, but I could be wrong. I don't know. What's the fastest anyone's ever blown through Skyrim? 100%. I wonder what that is. Taviar from Reddit. Admitting I had a problem and breaking my video game addiction. Also getting an S rank on every mission in Devil May Cry 3. Kind of made me laugh because, the second part of the answer kind of throws away the first part. But yeah, if you do have a video game addiction, that is some serious business. I had an issue with that quite a few years back and had to quit a certain game, cold turkey. So realizing you have a problem is an accomplishment in itself. Take notes, boy, from Reddit. I had to read it that way. It has 3 eyes. I have to read it that way. Climbing out of Bronze League, almost to gold. Yeah, man, like accomplishments don't have to be, world record breaking, earth shattering things. As long as you can feel proud of them for yourself, then they're good accomplishments. I had the same similar experience with StarCraft 2. I sucked at that game, but when I got from like bronze to silver and silver to gold, it felt really, really good. Even though I knew I was in like, not a great rank of player, it was a good accomplishment. Jackal Abacus from Reddit. I beat Super Metroid with only the power suit. It is extremely tedious and requires a lot of patience and well-timed grapples and frozen enemies. Norfair is a constant race against your energy draining. Yeah, I didn't know that was possible at all. So good on you for only using the power suit. That is some next level stuff. Forda Beer I think, from Reddit. 100% of Dark Souls 2 all the way to NG plus 7. Until this question, I didn't realize that Dark Souls got harder with every New Game Plus thing that you do up until 7 playthroughs. I just assumed the next one was, I played through. There's like a typical New Game Plus mode, and that's the harder mode. I didn't know it did that 7 times. That's insane. I guess I shouldn't be surprised with how hard that game is supposed to be. General Lamarck from Reddit. Leveled up my Blaziken to 100, 100% legitimately. I peaked at age 10. Well, if you peaked at age 10, then so did I, because I was so proud of my Rayquaza and Groudon 100% level ups, without using any sort of cheats or anything like that. It's always a good accomplishment. Carter Lawler from Reddit. Some of these are hard to pronounce, guys. Also, apparently I just can't read. From Reddit. Took a Polaroid picture on my black and white TV showing I'd beaten, don't know if it was a high score or an actual win, Pitfall on Atari 2600. I sent it to the game maker and they sent me a certificate. That's cool. I like hearing when people engage with the developers and the developers kind of give them something to show that they're appreciative. Discordadan from Discord, 100% on Dragon Age Origins. I've played every origin story and every choice possible with all DLC. By the 10th playthrough, I was quite proficient. That is some dedication, my man. Every story and every possible choice. I play some choice-based games, and like that just, even on short games, seems like it would take a lot of time. So good on you. Lenny95 from Reddit. I beat Mega Man 2 on the PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, mobile app, and TI-84 Plus CE graphing calculator. I'm also convinced that I'd be the unanimous greatest of all time Shrek 2 player if that game had a competitive scene like Counter-Strike or League of Legends. I'll keep crossing my fingers that people will eventually come around and start filling up stadiums to watch pro Shrek 2 players. Fantastic. Stylish Sunday from Reddit. If you can call it an accomplishment, I was once featured in Rooster Teeth's Fails of the Week, back when it was Halo Reach Fails of the Week. I've been unable to find it since, though. Maybe someone could help. It was on that map with the big structure on one side, and the rest went downhill towards a cliff. It was a game of infection, and I was a zombie. The only surviving human was on this rock near the cliff. I evaded towards him, missed completely, and then fell off the cliff and died. You can have accomplishment even if your failures, even in your failures, if your failures get featured on something. Infinite Yodel, probably when I 100% completed Super Mario 64 when I was like 7 years old. Awesome. I love the answers. I got several answers where very young people were actually dedicated towards finishing a game, and I can kind of relate. I fixated on a few games and just, I have to finish this. I have to finish it. Lord Fartulax from Reddit. I love you guys' names. Call of Duty 4 Mile High Club on Veteran. This is the only time in my almost 30 years of gaming where I broke a controller out of sheer rage. It took me several hundred attempts, but I finally got it. I can still remember every square inch of that level and every single enemy spawn. I would not get the Mile High Club on Call of Duty 4. I tried like 2 times and then gave up. So, about even. JK. Times New Lauren. 13 on Flappy Bird. It's another one where it's just like, well, that's the best answer. Let's go home. Astromancer, also of Reddit. Guild Wars 1, defeating Malix the Unyielding with my wife. He's the final boss of a post-game dungeon, the Domain of Anguish. The dungeon itself consists of 4 parts that can only be done and can be done in any order across however much time and attempts you care to take. Each section has to be done in one go, but failing one section does not reset the entire dungeon. The sections you've cleared are still clear. The city of Torqua, oh my god, I'm so bad at pronouncing any of these, can be difficult to approach, but once you find your angle of attack, it's pretty straightforward. The Stygian Vale, okay, come on, to get these names, is okay. Got some hard monsters, but overall there's enough room and it's not that big of a deal. Next up, Ravenheart Gloom. Okay. Thank you for that easier name. There's one bit where you have to defend against waves of monsters, and it's hard. The monsters are tough, and you don't have any time to recover between them, so you really have to take effective builds with staying power and manage your resources well. And then there's the Foundry of Failed Creations. In my opinion, the hardest of the sections. The monsters are even harder, and they come in awkwardly shaped rooms in frustrating numbers. Once you finally beat all 4 sections, Malix himself isn't actually that hard. He's pretty much the only thing in his section, and you get as many tries as you need without having to redo any of the other sections. I think it only took us 2 or 3 tries to actually beat him, but it took dozens and dozens of tries to beat the other sections over the course of over a year. I'm trying to think of a similar achievement. I know there are several achievements that in and of themselves aren't hard, but the setup to them is extremely difficult. Nothing coming to mind. Soy Robo from Reddit. The Iron Bladder achievement in Rock Band 2. No failing out or pausing during the endless set list on expert. Vocals and guitar. Friends playing expert drums. So, I also have this achievement, and it is infuriating. Not because it's necessarily hard, but because it fights against your base instincts. You have to sit there through, I believe it's over 7 hours, without pausing, to do the endless set list, which is every single song on the disc, in a row, no pausing, no failing. The failing part isn't that bad if you're pretty good. You don't have to do it on expert or anything, but it's so hard, sitting there for 7 hours, something happens, and you just instinctually, hit the pause button and go do something. And there were several points where I hit the pause button and just because I was specifically going for the achievement, hit the pause button and just immediately, oh my God, why'd I do that? And then I had to restart, the entire thing. So frustrating. I did finally get it though. I finally got it. Cosmic the Dolphin from Reddit, and now on Discord. Follow his lead, guys. Took me 2 years of attempts, but completing rally mode on Puyo Puyo 2 Remix without a single continue. For anyone trying to figure out the difficulty of this game, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine is a reskin of Puyo Puyo 1. Puyo Puyo 2 Remix has much more difficult computers to deal with and much faster drop speed. Even on the hardest setting, Puyo Puyo 1 features 13 levels. Rally mode in Puyo Puyo 2 Remix features 33 straight levels. So in short, if anyone out there remembers it being difficult to beat Mean Bean Machine, that was a walk in the park compared to what I spent 2 years trying to accomplish. At the time of accomplishing this, I was the only known Western player to have video proof. This person shared a link, and I watched it, and the joy on this person's face after a 2-year accomplishment was just amazing. They were shaking and they're just so happy, and that's pretty sweet. The first Western player to have video proof of it, that's my hat's off to you. Edaz91. I drove like a normal person in GTA San Andreas for about 30 minutes. No, you did. That's a lie. That's impossible. You can't do that. No. I don't believe you. Proof. I need video evidence that someone drove normally in GTA San Andreas for 30 minutes. Drugs Bunny for the win from Reddit. Finishing Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 without dying once took me a lot of time and tears. Yeah, it sounds like it. Why would you put yourself through that? Why would you do that? Impressive. Very impressive. J Giraffe from Discord. My best gaming accomplishments are quitting all the MMOs, CCGs, and mobile RPGs I've gotten addicted to throughout the years. Now I strictly play games to experience designs/features I want to incorporate into my game or not. Yeah, I feel like that feels like an accomplishment to me too. There are a couple mobile games that, I would play, but at a certain point it would just feel like I wasn't really doing anything. Like Hearthstone, for instance. Great game, love it. Had it on mobile, but every time I kept getting this feeling, like every time I was playing it on mobile, I'm like, I could be experiencing something else instead of playing my 5,000th game of this. That's, not particularly, I don't know. It just, at a certain point, I remember I was playing on mobile and I thought I could be doing something else, and just straight deleted the game. That was like a month ago, 2 months ago, and haven't started it again. I just, it's weird because at times I still feel that need to pull out my phone, and just go play a game of Hearthstone, but I can't. Like I said, it's not a bad game. It's just at a certain point you feel in certain games that you just kind of play just because you're bored and it's not necessarily for the experience or anything, that you just, it's not a good feeling sometimes. Zale from Reddit. Beaten Pokemon Soul Silver with just a Rattata. What? Oh, almost done with Leaf Green at the same time and considering trying it on Sun and Moon versions. Of course, the Rattata's name is always top percent, all caps. Well done. That is an accomplishment that I don't want to put myself through because that sounds like hell on earth. Jay from Facebook. I recently played the remastered Final Fantasy X with a friend David. He had played it when it came out 15 years prior, but this time we managed to do the impossible and unlock all the celestial weapons, 200 lightning dodges, and a 0.0 time on that horrid chocobo race, and 6 hours of blitzball, and we managed to do what we couldn't as kids. I remember those lightning dodges. I remember that I couldn't do it until I turned my strategy, turn off all the lights in the room so you can see the lightning dodges as clear as day, as clear as you possibly can, and as soon as a lightning strike happens, blink, because you want your eyes to be open for the next one. And I finally got that. I finally did it. Lucky B 123. Very, very strange spelling, but I dig it. From Reddit. Beat the devs of Call of Duty 4 in the training missions. Beat their time by like 0.5 seconds. Took me 50 attempts. Well done. Well done. Plant E from Reddit. 100%ed Skyrim, and I mean 100%. Every possible item, every side quest finished, every possible place discovered, every unique item obtained, every perk acquired, everything. Opening some of the chests in my Hearth Fire homes will crash the game on weak computers. Jesus. I still hear about people discovering new places that I came across 5 years ago. 7,000 hours well spent. Jesus. That is some pretty hardcore dedication. Hats off. Sonnet666 from Reddit. This wasn't me, but my friend, getting the Big Brass Balls achievement on Bioshock 2 for never respawning with the Vita chambers turned on. He wasn't even trying to get it either. The achievement popped up during the end credits, and he realized he just played through the entire game without dying unintentionally. He's just gotten that good at Bioshock. Wow. I can't imagine accidentally just not dying on a game. I can imagine purposefully not dying on a game and being super careful, but that's amazing. That Old Horse from Reddit. In Battlefield 4, I shot a piece of C4 strapped to a motorbike from about 600 meters out and killed 6 guys with the explosion. Never topped that. He sent in a video clip, and I watched that, and it was kind of hilarious. I don't think if I was, on that bike that I could even be mad. It's like, how? Okay. Hitman47501 of Reddit. Reading this thread made me realize that I have a gaming problem. I could write a rant about gaming achievements, top tier on 5 different multiplayer games, don't get me started on single player ones, but I realized I'm not proud of them. I played games for most of my youth, north of 20,000 hours, and all I want to say is thank you for opening my eyes. This thread is put in perspective. Yeah, man, don't, it's okay to admit that you have a gaming problem if you do. I've had one, and it's, if you can admit that, then you can, kind of manage it. It doesn't mean you have to give up games entirely. It doesn't mean that video games are bad. It's just acknowledging that you have to change your relationship with them. Good on you. Good on you. I wish you luck in your journey. Grachi of Reddit. My Team Fortress 2 team won the UGC Highlander Platinum League the second season we were in it. Valve even made virtual medals and distributed them to each member on the roster in our inventory, saying what season we won and the date. It's a medal that goes on whatever character you want on the left side of the chest. That was in like 2011 or 2012, and I still get people that come up to me in-game that look at it for a while or inspect me and say that it is cool. Probably the only thing I had in the game that I earned that thousands and thousands of people also didn't earn. An actual achievement of sorts. Yeah, for sure. It's always good to have the devs or, some organization be able to recognize that you've done something and, give you something in-game for it. That's awesome. Patchy of Reddit. God, you're killing me with these names. Beat Zelda Wind Waker on casual 3-heart run. 3-heart hero mode and 100% in a few weeks because I had nothing better to do. Beat Majora's Mask 100% 3-heart run. And I've 100%ed Breath of the Wild. Not sure if I'll go back to a 3-heart run, but maybe eventually. For those not in the know, because I wasn't in the know, a 3-heart run in any Zelda game is when you beat the game without gaining any heart containers, which to me sounds insane. I also read that on games where you start with more than 3 heart containers, you just kind of, consider it a death if you lose 3 or more. So well done. That's a lot of games to do that on. Let's see, Wind Waker. Wow, man. All right. Exile Prime of Reddit, growing a small faction to creating a government in a sandbox MMO called Face of Mankind, and producing planet-wide and player-made events to enrich the social value of the game. That's awesome. It's great when you can be so good or dedicated to a game that you actually influence the game itself. That just feels great, because I mean, we're in game or out of game, we are social creatures, and to be able to enhance the game for other people is awesome. Well, that's it for this week's show. Thank you for joining me. If you want to be a part of the Big Shiny Coin family, join the Discord by going to somberdawnstudios.com and clicking the Join the Discord button at the top. It's, like I said before, it's the best way to get on the podcast. We're trying to build a community. We want to hear from you. We want to hear how you're doing. Also, Twitter at somber_dawn, Instagram somber_dawn_studios, and facebook.com/somberdawn. Thank you to everyone, especially those on Reddit, the ton of you who gave me great answers for this week. Until next week, bye!